The Pistons are the basketball champions of the world.
Detroit, it's time. It's playoff time, Detroit. Let's go to work.
Shout out Detroit. I got to buff up, you know what I'm saying? Detroit, I'm all the way in. Detroit Pistons, I'm all the way in. Let's do it.
So next guy here that came up was Jaden Ivey. Again, following the trend of just looking gigantic, like actually strong. Looks like a different person. And he's completely healthy. That was the main thing. Like I said with Trajan, he's been in the gym. He's really fast. He's back. He feels 100%. And he's just been improving in the offseason like everyone else. He said he watched some Shea to work on his mid-range game to have more control. He said he wants to cut out some like bad shots that he was taking. And then he also said he's just been doing like a lot of overall work, but he specifically mentioned that he was doing a lot of three-point training over the summer. So anything else on JI?
No, he looked like a grown man, and I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but Jaden Ivey is Christian. Um, just about every single answer that he had, that man died for us. Respect to your religion, but every single answer.
Yeah, he's very faithful. But it was just nice to see him back up there smiling. He was just cheesing when he got up there. Like he's just happy to be back. And I'm excited for this year for Jaden Ivey. I think it could be something special.
I think aside from him looking like he benches 315 and aside from him being fully healthy and ready to go, one thing that got me kind of really excited about seeing him back on the court, was just the credit he gave. We saw Marcus Sasser say it, but Ivy crediting Dennis Schroeder as well. Obviously, you can see the impact that Dennis had in his time here, but he specifically credited Schroeder for helping him process the game better. And that's probably one of the biggest things we've had with Ivy, right? Since he's come into the league, is sometimes just too fast for his own good, doesn't know how to slow down sometimes. And specifically noting and specifically sitting out during the playoffs and having to watch and dissect the game through that perspective, I think, and crediting Shooter, it's just really exciting to me. The potential and the promise of more poise coming from his game is exciting on top of yeah, gosh, he looks so freaking strong. Could be a really, really great year for Jaden Ivey, I think.
Yeah, and I guess taking it back real quick to Duncan when he saw JI like move and play, I forgot who he mentioned it to, but he was like amazed. He's like he moves like that. Like he was very surprised of how well Jaden Ivey was moving. But like I said, just positivity, good stuff from him. If nothing else on Jaden, how about we go into Uncle T, Tobias Harris, who again, just the calm vet, positive notions. Do you guys have any basketball things? Because I just wrote down some stuff about his affordable housing initiative that I did not know before.
I'm glad that I'm glad that you were mentioning that. I think that's really great. He's really just like a great figure for obviously this team, but that replicates to the city. From a basketball standpoint, no, I just saw like a lot of funny little moments. I mean, like you showed him yelling "shut up," and I think it was Stu yelling in the background.
Yeah,
They asked some like pretty unique, funny questions. The Pistons administrating team that is, and or social media team, and one of them was like directly from his sister or something. It's like, who's your favorite sibling? And it was obviously her. Just a lot of just personal things and reasons outside of basketball reassuring as to or reaffirming why we really want to have Tobias Harris on this team. Uncle T, looking forward to yet another year with him. But no, I didn't really catch any of the basketball stuff with Toby.
me neither.
Connie, did you?
He didn't really talk that much about it. He did say that everyone's been active and communicating,
Mhm.
which is great. But yeah, the affordable housing stuff, and then he said like at the end of like talking about that, um, that he wants to show the guys that it's not just about like hooping, but also like doing stuff for your community and making the city that you play in better. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, Uncle T was Uncle T, right? Just calm, steady, nothing flashy, just straight to business, and good person.
yeah. I looked up a little bit about what he said. So it's a down payment assistance for home ownership program, and he's aiming to help about 280 people or families in the Detroit area. He's done the same thing in Philadelphia, where he played before. I'm not sure like the actual numbers and stuff. And his company doing this here in Detroit has now been invested in by the official Michigan State Housing Authority. So they're looking to expand the program. So just great initiative by Toby, and see what else he can get the team, because like this type of leadership is exactly like it reminds me of Dwayne Casey, like just being like a good like father figure almost. I'm excited to see what the other Pistons will do with this type of leadership in the community. Valley, I know you're very excited about that type of work.
Absolutely. An uncle figure, perhaps. We saw Jeremy Grant get, and rightfully so, a really sweet mural in downtown Detroit. What does that mean? What do we do for Tobias? Are we getting the Tobias Harris statue
It's got to be
once
the
he
Toby.
calls his kids?
Yeah, the Unk statue.
The Unk statue. It'll be
Do
the
Yeah,
one
yeah, yeah.
photo they showed him where he's screaming and pointing angrily at the playoffs. Let's make that a statue.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Speaking of Jeremy Grant, he looked very sad to be in Portland in the media did.
He seems
Uh,
very engaged in not basketball activities, like his social media and everything. He's probably like, "Oh man, I gotta go back to work,"
yeah.
just like the rest of us. At least he makes ridiculous amounts of dollars.
Well, okay, so the other guy who came up next, again, looking stronger, somehow looking more athletic, is Asar Thompson. He came up there once again, just smiling. He looked way more confident. He was
He
talkative.
did.
He's a quiet guy usually, but he was very vocal. He's
Yeah.
expressive, which I thought is just a good sign overall that he is comfortable with where he's at. He specifically said that he was working on mainly ball handling, shooting specifically in the corner, and then rim finishing. And with all the other quotes going around of how dangerous this guy looks, I can't be more excited to watch Sark play basketball. Only thing I did not like is that he said he wants to he's looking to get into his mid-range pull-up. I don't think it's a shot we need specifically unless you're very late into the sh shot clock. But man, just like him in the gym having a healthy year is just he's gonna be dangerous. Like Trajan said, he's a nightmare. He's gonna be a nightmare as JB, I think. So man, I'm excited. And then the next guys, well, that we're gonna talk about, I think we are gonna be the most athletic team in the league, and I don't think it's gonna be very close.
Yeah, it's gonna be super fun to watch them play. But like, if that if the mid range shot that he's talking about is like that little shot where he just elevates is like slightly fading and just basically shoots a line drive downward because he jumps so high. If that can become consistent, then I think that's something that we can look forward to.
Yeah, he also said that he's happy that Ron changed his number back to 5.
Hmm.
And he's looking forward to being the 9 to 5 crew again. It caused some absolute terror for some dudes. Uh, which, hot golly.
Yeah, this is a nightmare. Not just in transition, they're gonna be a nightmare on the defensive end too.
Yeah, next dude up.
Wait, can I just quickly hop in with the SAR really quick? I just have one thing to say before we get into Ron. Good points with the 9 to 5, both of you. But one thing I just wanted to point out is how he specifically noted he wants to be more aggressive on the offensive end, noting that he's aggressive on the defensive end, but not so much offensively. And just with his extreme athleticism and how quickly he can bounce, I just think that's exciting overall. I've been I'm so convinced Asar is going to have an absolutely fantastic like breakout year. I've been trying to tell my good friend that I made over here who's a basketball fan how good he's going to be, but people just don't get it, you know? And so the only thing Asar can do is just show it. And I'm so excited for him to have a full off season and really have the full capabilities start from day one and just show how elite he is, and how different he is, I think, defensively particularly.
Last year was the year of Amen. This is gonna be the year of Asar, and it's gonna be so much fun to watch.
I agree.
Well, one more thing, real quick. He also mentioned that he was talking with JB and watching film and learning how to play defense at different intervals, at different levels, to not always be that aggressive reachy kind of pokey guy. He said he wants to play more minutes, and he said a large part of that is knowing who you're guarding and how to guard them at specific points of the game to not pick up those stupid fouls.
Yeah.
So that's just a huge like thing that he probably learned in the playoffs. Like he's just gonna be if he like he played what 25 minutes a game last year, if even 20 minutes. If he has the athleticism to play like 38, and if he's at that number, like we're not gonna lose the minutes that he's on the floor.
Yeah, and I don't did you were you talking about JB as in JB Bickerstaff or JB as in Jalen Brunson?
Both.
Both, yeah, because like I love how he hinted that like he was watching film of him with guarding Jalen. How
Yeah.
he was like, I feel like I could have been more aggressive here, like you said, pulled back a little bit here. So like not only is this guy like already a tremendous defender, but he's gonna get better, which is terrifying. Because we won most all the minutes that he was on Jalen Brunson in that series. I think Jalen Brunson averaged like 12 and a half points when Asar was on him, and it was 30 on when Asar wasn't. So, let the numbers speak for them. And that's just the most basic of numbers. So, like, Asar, it's going to be a fun year.
And let's move on to his counterpart, huh?
Yeah, the 5 of the 9 to 5.
Ron didn't have it was he was pretty short. He didn't have too much to say. Um, but two things I noted was he on the other part of that 9 to 5 was also very excited to play defense with Asar Thompson, was really hitting again how terrifying those two could be together. And along with that, he said he'd been learning some habits from Asar, one of which is right after the games, AT goes right to watching his defensive film. And Ron's like, yeah, I'm doing that. I'm like right there with them, those guys. And having those two freaking, like, both freakishly athletic, like different types of athleticism. Sorry, it's probably more athletic, but Ron's got his own brand of like elite athleticism. A 6'8" long wing guys. Oh my God. Like, it's just more stuff. Everything about the media day got me so excited.
Yeah, and JB also said that we're going to see Ron and Asar on the floor together, which is going to be very interesting. I'm excited for that.
The dream, or I guess the long-term dream always is the Ivy Cade backcourt, Ron Asar wings, and then, probably JD at the five. Excited to perhaps see that, actually happen this season a bit more. Ron, I don't want to be negative or anything. I think everything's been so great. Only guy that really didn't noticeably like put more muscle onto me. I don't know if you guys saw that differently.
He looked a little stronger, at least in the summer league. I thought
Yeah,
Ron looked like he had put on a little bit of weight. I couldn't see it as
yeah.
much.
It might just be like a recency thing. Like he's the most recent Piston we've seen, so like his improvement may not
Yeah,
feel as drastic as the others.
could be. I thought he was still looking pretty damn lanky though. But I was a very long process, and what he's still 19 years old. Not
Yeah,
not a very big concern I have on that end right there. But I'm so excited about just the fierce like scrappiness. You mentioned if Asar and Ron play together. Give me a lineup of Asar, Ron, and Stu. That'd be the greatest thing on the planet. Maybe if Stu even moves down to the four with JD, I think just the potential to play so many varying lineups that have varying strengths is so exciting to me, and Ron and his versatility on the wing, I think it's just a really big part of that. Obviously going to be really excited to see how that jump shot looks when it comes to we're probably going to look on Monday when we play that preseason game. I'm going to try my best to not overreact, but that jump shot, really excited about it after the summer league as well. Yeah, excited to see Ron and Asar 9 to 5 on the wings. I think that it's just going to be a really, really scary sight for every single opposing team. I would hate to play the Pistons if they're both in the lineup.
and you got Cade in there too, so it's literally 9-2-5. So and Cade, Asar, Ron, Stu, Duren, like that's your 6-6 to 6-8 lineup that you were talking about, Gabe. So like there's some of those funky lineups that we had mentioned earlier.
Yeah. Then unless anybody's got anything else on Ron,
Mhm.
last dude to talk about, um, Jalen Duren. Who, continuing the theme of everybody looking better, does look a little leaner. Talked about it too, said his body fat was down and his muscle was up. Just more stuff to be excited about. We can get more into like other stuff that he actually talked about, but something I was really disappointed by from the media standpoint is that nobody asked him about how tall he is.
Yeah,
Not
I
or
was gonna
not
say the same
not
thing.
one person was like, "Did you go this summer?" Nope, just a mystery. There was a picture posted of him, Cade, and Ivy standing next to each other with about equal placement, like no one forward or back. There's no shot that he's 7'1". I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He's not that tall. He didn't get that tall. Maybe he's like 6'10", 6'11", but he's not. He's not 7'1", unfortunately.
That might have been for the clicks. That might have
Um,
been for the clicks.
I was just gonna say, if nobody asked it, we really got to find a way to advocate for ourselves and send over a member of the Buffs on team to really ask the important questions next media day. So
Yeah,
get ready. I mean, like 1 year from now, it's your time to shine.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Hand out complimentary buffs to everybody too. They got to wear them during the presser.
What if we just started like every day we tweet a question from the Buff Zone at just one of the Pistons guys? It doesn't matter if we never get a response. We just every single day just tweet some random question to one of the guys on the roster.
The Pistons asked, they're like, "Hey, so like, what questions do you want to ask at media day?" I threw 4 or 5 out there, but the only one that they got any response from the Pistons was, "Which of the following best represents admin? 10 out of 10, 50 out of 10, 100 out of 10, or GOAT?" And they replied with all of the above. So you know,
We'll
gotta
see.
gotta talk to admin a little bit more, but I think we'll get there, boys. We'll get there.
I just want to know. I don't know how much truth there is to it, but there seems some more like serious ground to the fact of Jalen Duren expanding his range. He touched on it in his interviews, working on that. He's flashed it here and there, that little midi face-up game. But just open that door a little bit. Said he's been working on it, but open the door to him potentially having the green light to expand really excites me. We'll see if that does ever come into fruition. I would love for Jalen Duren to shoot a handful of threes over the preseason, just to kind of get a visual of that. I genuinely think this guy can shoot 3-pointers, and I would love to see that moving forward. Yeah.
Someone did ask him like, "Oh, we saw you like working on it," and he said, "Yeah, just got to start putting them up now." So maybe that will be a thing that we see in the future. Um, I know either Gabe or Connie, you got this, so I don't want to steal it from you because I probably stole a crap ton from you guys on this pod. But Gabe, you haven't had a chance to go in a minute, so like your words on JD.
Yeah, I do. When he walked up there, I had to laugh. Like this guy's a monster. He is somehow like more lean, but he also looked larger than last year. Maybe it's just because I haven't seen a guy that muscular in a long time. And his quote after that less body fat, more muscle thing was that he is really just focused on progressing as a whole. He wants to be able to play a bigger role for the team, which I thought was important because it's not just play more, not just play more minutes, but be more involved in everything the team does. He mentioned that JB talked to him about emphasizing the grab and go because he grabs every rebound and then he does have the passing chops and the handle to just take off. We saw it a little bit last year, but I thought there are a lot of times where he'd just catch and he'd look. And so, it's really, I think that is a huge thing where he's going to take that step, getting closer to Giannis, as I've been saying. And the quote that got me the most love was that he said, "I hope to spend my whole career here."
Yeah,
You
that,
know,
that was a big one.
he has not signed the extension yet. I have absolutely no fear that he will be happy with whatever it is because he's going to get a lot of money and then he's going to continue to be here and just continue to win with his team. And then last thing, we mentioned it a bit with Duncan. He said that he's been talking with him on screens, specifically like the footwork that he can do to get Duncan the ball open and to screen as quickly as possible. Which I thought, like, if you're already talking about the footwork on screens, they must have been putting in a lot of work together. So overall, man,
Oh, I read that differently. Well, like the way I heard that was like he was trying to figure out what Duncan's footwork is. But I mean, same result, right? Like get him the best shot on the screens. But that, like, I thought he was talking about like what Duncan's footwork is so he can screen and pass the best, which I love to hear because that sounded like what Tech said about Cade when he first came here. Cade was the first guy that was like, where do you like the ball? Like, where do you like to catch it? And it's those sort of like tiny things like, how's your footwork on the screen so I can put the ball right where it needs to be so you have another quarter second more when the defender comes around so you can get a clean shot off or something. Uh, I thought that was awesome. Yeah. Uh, I thought it was funny that he said he has the green light to shoot threes. And I'm like, oh, I wonder who gave him that green light. Is that his own green light or is that JB? Because I don't know if it's JB. He doesn't seem the most interested in having centers shoot threes, but thought that was funny. And that he said, and I feel like we've talked about it a little bit, like the comparisons of him and Andre Drummond, and how Andre Drummond in the offseason was always shooting threes, but it was always these like crazy dribble mix up three pointers that you'd never actually see in game. Where Jalen Duren was talking about he's getting his basics, his footwork, his fundamentals, like the things that build up into actually being a reliable three-point shooter rather than, the crazy stuff. And the guy he was working out with, I've talked about this before, but it's Shay's trainer. It's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's trainer. It's the guard whisperer, which is awesome.
There's
Um,
another guy he was working out with over the offseason. Did anybody catch that name?
Rashid.
Mr. Rashid. Yes, sir. I was hoping
Yeah.
one of you would bring that one up.
He said to me, but I think you get the message is what he said.
Yeah. So just, I mean, I'm just ridiculously excited about Jalen Duren. I'm like having visions of like a Robin Lopez-esque turn as well, like building out and suddenly shooting three pointers. But like with the grab and go stuff, like we really have no idea of how good Jalen Duren can be, right? Like we saw like little flat. Gabe talked about like Giannis. We saw like little flashes of like certain center defenders, whether it was like Kelly Olynyk type, like the slower footed guys that he could just like straight up from the 3 point line dribble past and get to the hoop and like start to use his athleticism more functionally. But like that's just the start of it. Like this man just turned 22, I think. He's 22 years old. Um,
Crazy.
we really have no idea about how good this guy can become. Uh, from a skill set and from like a willingness point of view, he talked about being better with like I think on the defensive end too, just like contesting more and just being more impactful. I keep saying it, but like holy shit, like I think this team is actually could be pretty crazy.
Oh man, this whole media day just has me excited. There was really nothing to say where you could take away and be like, oh well, this could be an issue, but it was all positive. Everybody looks stronger. Um, it's everything you'd want from a media day. No steps back, only steps forward, seemingly.
Anything else on JD, or can we quickly go into the last two guys here?
No, I got nothing more on JD.
All right, so then next on the podium was Chaz Lanier, who wasn't on there too long. Same kind of stuff. Said he's been working with the team. The one thing that stuck out to me was that he's been watching a lot of Devin Booker and Curry and how to get open without the ball. That's a thing that I think Duncan Robinson doesn't do as well as Malik Beasley's that off-ball movement.
Mm,
Uh, More of a kind of, be sneaky and have the ball in quick spurts. So if Chaz is that guy where you just have to keep an eye on him at all times, it draws so much pressure. And of course, you got to make the threes. But he also said that even since before his college days ended, that the 3 point line is like he's been training with the NBA 3 point line. So I'm, just excited. Again, I don't think he's have a huge role, but he'll get a few spot minutes and just to know his role, right? That's the most important thing is he needs to get open without having the ball in his hands, and that's the thing that he's been working on. So again, just good stuff from him.
yeah, I'm excited to see what Chad brings. I think we were all a little disappointed he didn't hit as many shots as we would have liked to see in summer league, but I don't think that changed our outlook on him at all. He's still a knockdown shooter. What did he average? Like 8.5 threes a game in college. So the guy's a shooter and he's gonna hit shots. That's what he's gonna do. Last guy.
Yeah, last guy, Karis LeVert, came on at the end. He didn't look like too like exuberant, but he kind of seemed like he was there to take care of business, which you always like to see. Connie mentioned this earlier that he, as well as JB, reiterated that like a lot of people say they're flexible, but he's like, I'm not just flexible, I'm adaptable. And he mentioned how he used to be kind of an on-ball guy. In the past 2 years, he's really focused on becoming a movement shooter, is what he said. And so like he is really open to just locking in on defense, and then everything offensively, he'll do what the team needs of him to do. So like that's really you can't wish for anything more. I think Karras is gonna have a nice year with us, and just to hear, I think we talked about it when we did the acquisition pod of like we're unsure of how good of a shooter he is, but again, like if he is, like if I think hearing this now, if that's what he's putting his mind to, he's going to be a good shooter. He's going to be a great shooter and a threat that we honestly that we need. We need more good shooters on this team.
Yeah, and I've been saying it since we made the acquisitions. We may not be a better shooting team next season with the loss of THJ and B and the additions of Duncan and LeVert, but I think we are going to be a lot more versatile in what we can do defensively, offensively because of Duncan and Karras. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they're utilized offensively. And how we utilize Karras defensively as well. Because if he's out there with Ron and Asar, then maybe one of them can take less. Like that's three defenders who have the capability to stifle the opponent. So it's going to be very interesting. I'm excited for Karras on this team.
Yeah, I think just overall his flexibility in positions and his adaptability, what you mentioned earlier, it excites me. His ability to just kind of fill into any role that he's going to be asked to do, which I think will happen quite a bit. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he's seen some minutes, maybe not by choice at the point as the primary ball handler. Throughout his past, we've seen him at the 2, we've seen him at the 3. There's just going to be unique lineups because I think we have a lot of tweeners on our team, guys that can play multiple positions, and I just think that his flexibility and previous relationship with JB as well is just going to be really beneficial to the team overall.
Yeah, lots of guys on this team have the ability to do that. LeVert, Holland, Asar, Ivey, Cade, Tobias, maybe a little bit. Duren has the ability to make some slick passes. Duncan. So a lot of guys on this team can do a lot of things.
And if that's all from you guys from media day, takeaways, positivity,
Yeah,
healthy, guys are big, guys are strong, and these young guys are improving is the general message we got. It's getting pretty late over here, so if you got nothing else to say, I'd be happy to wrap this up.
yeah, run it.
Well, then, what day did you say preseason starts? On
October
Monday?
6th.
Monday.
So we'll have a season preview pod out before then for you guys at some point. So keep an eye out for that. Other than that, Ahmed, what do we say here to close it out?
Throw the Buffs on Detroit because the future is bright.